That's okay. Huh?
Okay. Hi. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Tamilboomi Weekly Meet. Every week நம்ம வந்து ஒவ்வொருத்தங்க கிட்ட இருந்து பேசிட்டு இருப்போம். இந்த வாரம் ராஜேஷ் அண்ணா ஜாயின் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. அவங்க ஒரு ஐஐடி கிராஜுவேட். ஐஐடி கிராஜுவேஷன் முடிச்சுட்டு எல்என்டில ஜாயின் பண்ணிட்டு ஹி வாஸ் ஹேண்ட்லிங் வேரியஸ் கம்பெனிஸ் டைரக்டர் லெவல்ல இருந்திருக்காங்க. ஸோ அவங்களோட இப்போ பாண்டிச்சேரியில் ஹீஸ் எ ஸ்பிரிச்சுவல் சீக்கர். ஸோ அவங்கள பற்றி மச் அவங்க என்ன பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க என்னங்கிறத ஹி வில் டெல் ஹிஸ் இன்ட்ரோடக்ஷன். ஸோ ஐ ஜஸ்ட் ஹேண்டிங் ஓவர் திஸ் ஃபோரம் டு ஹிம். டாபிக் வந்து கான்ஃப்ளிக்ட் அண்ட் டைம் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட். ஸோ ஹி ஹாஸ் பீன் மென்டார்ட் ஃபார் மெனி பீப்புள். அவரோட கரியர்லேயும் சரி, ஆஃப்டர் ஹிஸ் கரியர் அவர் அதுலேயே வந்து இப்போ டைரக்டர் லெவலில் போயிட்டு he came out actually. அதாவது வந்து என்ன சொல்றது, வாலண்டியர்லி he opted. அதாவது என்ன சொல், பை சாய்ஸ் he was மூவிங் அவுட் ஆஃப் கார்பரேட். ஸோ அதுவும் ஏங்கிறதுக்கு நமக்கு எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுவாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஓகே ராஜேஷ், நான் ஓவர் டு யூ.
Okay, first of all, before I move on, my screen is visible to everybody? Yes? No?
Yeah, visible,
Yes, visible.
visible.
Okay. So I don't know where I am, but it's okay. That doesn't matter. One sec. So okay. I can't. Just 1 second. There is a logistic issue. I don't know who's there, who's not there. 1 second.
You are visible and your screen is visible.
Screen is visible. Okay. So I will get started. So, sorry. Okay.
நோ ப்ராப்ளம் ஜி. ராஜேஷ் ஜி, ஒரே ஒரு ஜஸ்ட் காமெண்ட் மட்டும். யா, ஃபுல் ஸ்க்ரீன் இல்லன்னு சொல்ல வந்தேன். யா, தேங்க் யூ.
Okay. So, gratitude to all of you for having come here to listen to something of what I wanted to share. So, good evening to all of you. வணக்கம். எனக்கு தமிழ் 2வது வகுப்பு வரைக்கும் தான் நான் படித்ததனால், so I cannot speak fluently in Tamil, but முடிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் தமிழ்ல பேச பார்க்கிறேன். தாய்மொழி தமிழ் இருந்தாலும் படிக்க முடியவில்லை 3வது வகுப்புக்கு after that. Okay. So, now all of you, you can have a look at the screen. So imagine that you are one of the persons who's walking or resting on the seashore at this time, as you can see, and a big wave of tsunami comes. Okay, as you can see on that. So what would be basically your reaction at that time? Enna பண்ணுவீங்க அந்த டைம்ல? Anybody? Sundar, you can also just speak. Anybody can pause and ask. I wanted to make it interactive, and I don't know, it might even exceed the time, but feel free to drop in or drop out.
ஓடுவோம். சுனாமின்னு தெரிஞ்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் நம்ம அந்த இடத்த எவ்வளவு சீக்கிரம் காலி பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறோமோ அதுதான் நேச்சுரல் இன்ஸ்டிங்க்டா இருக்கும்.
Okay. But yeah, no. Okay, no, you are actually, you can see the giant waves and you are in no position you to get up. Okay. So at that stage, you are done for. I mean, you can see the rocks on the left. So you cannot, if you run towards that, you will be dashed also. So it is a very big crisis point and it can happen to everybody, anybody in the world. எவ்வளோ பெரிய சக்திசாலியா இருந்தாலும், even if it's the greatest emperor who's on that at that time, he'll be just smashed naturally. So on the title, why I am putting this particular point is everybody will have crisis. Okay, I just wanted to give an introduction first to crisis before moving on. So at that crisis, you have nothing. Your pairs of legs, your mind, everything goes for a toss. You can't do anything at that particular point in time. So the maximum you can do is to pray. Okay, you can just pray at that particular point in time and then hope that you will be saved, and you might be saved. Okay. So I want to bring the point basically is that before even going into conflict, people who have experienced a crisis, in fact, of very high degree, will know that nothing really matters at the time of crisis. Your strength, everything goes. It's basically your faith and aspiration that something of living a life meaningfully. If you are in that state, you are probably even protected from a tsunami. or you won't have that opportunity to happen. So I just wanted to bring that particular point. Now I move on to the next slide, and I think most of you are Indians, and this is basically now it's an act of nature, wrath of nature, you can say. But I am now giving another situation of crisis. I think you all are very well aware. This is the Draupadi calling to Lord Krishna. Okay. Now this is again a very supreme crisis. I just want you to pause that Draupadi at that time was the most powerful empress in the entire world. Her husbands were the most powerful. They were undefeated. Okay. They were made to be slaves. And you can see on the left a band of Kauravas sneering and trying whatever they can to humiliate her. And for a woman, there's nothing more precious than dignity. And they wanted to rob her and humiliate her publicly. And in that assembly, they were very, very learned men. Vidura was there, Bhishma was there, Drona was there. Nobody could do anything, okay, in that supreme crisis. And she was the empress. She represented the entire human womanhood. And she had nothing. So she calls at that time of crisis, Krishna. Okay. So he comes and rescues. So the moot point, what I'm trying to say is that however powerful you are, you have to have the sense, or a crisis or a supreme crisis will give you the lesson that by yourself, you can't do much. You need a supreme power first and foremost. So I just wanted to give this particular introduction before starting on conflict, is that in times of crisis, nothing matters. Only the faith or aspiration matters. Now, I'll just move on to the next slide. Okay. Next slide, you can see Buddha actually, who's enlightened, and then he is meditating. Now, you can see a circle of influence, and outside that circle of influence, a lot of forces are trying to get in and disturb his path or his nirvana or his enlightenment. He is just protected by a circle. They are not able to enter. Now, Buddha is a person, I shouldn't say person, he is even equivalent of an avatar in some people. He had the most invincible will of any kind. Okay. We don't know of many people who had such a stupendous will or thought that when he left his wife and the kingdom, he went for his quest. There was not a single moment of dropping his vigilance in his quest. And then he achieved it after many years. And in 2000 years, we have one Buddha. Now, why am I saying this? This is the invincible, suprahuman, it's a superhuman will which Buddha has. And even with all that, he had his nirvana. The forces outside him, you can see multiple forces trying to dislodge him. They are not transformed. They are there. They are not able to penetrate his invincible fortress of knowledge and strength. Okay. So what I am trying to say, and I have not even introduced myself, I'll come to that. I'll be focusing basically on aspiration, which I said earlier, and the will. Now, Buddha could achieve all with his will, but there is only one Buddha in the entire 2000 years. Okay. 2000 years or 2500 years, we know of one Buddha. So most of us who are aspirants, we don't have the invincible will of Buddha, which is all right. We can always lean on our aspiration or our faith. Okay. So that's the main point I wanted to bring. So the sphere which you see of Buddha is quite high. Our sphere may not be all that big, but the point is you will have to build your own defenses in your core. Ungalukkulle and the Sakti kondu varanum first. That is very, very essential if you have to manage conflicts. Crisis, we have already taken care. For conflicts, we need to have a support of both aspiration and will. This is the main thing, and this is where I'll focus as far as today's webinar is concerned. I hope all of you are getting it. And feel free to stop me, or Sundar, you can pause me. I can't see anybody because of the full screen with me.
Yes, they will put in the chat box. If any queries, they'll raise a hand and put it. You please carry on. It is going very
Okay,
good.
okay. Or you can interrupt me when it is there. So this is a moot point. I am saying I'll be talking about aspiration and the will method. So what you say, I am sorry, it is too. I'll read what is there in the top. Now, this aspiration will is not something of my creation, or it's not a mental creation. Okay. This is a certitude or a promise given by the Divine Mother. I'll read it out. If the aspiration is there in you, if the will is there in you, then it is absolutely certain that you will sooner or later succeed in anything which you are determined. Okay. So this is the main format in which I have tried applying to the extent I could in my life, and also in the people whom I have interacted. Now, there are 4 things which are mentioned below. C greater than C greater than T greater than M. That's very simple. At the hour of crisis, nothing matters. That is greater than conflicts, however big a conflict. That is, in terms of conflict, time is actually nothing and money is also nothing. I just wanted to give this as a food for thought, that many people think on money from a basis of money. Paisa யோசிச்சு decision எடுப்பீங்க. கொஞ்சம் பேர் டைம் யோசிச்சு decision எடுப்பீங்க. Some people understand conflicts. In terms of conflict, time and money both really are not important if you are hell bent on resolving the conflict. So this is just a pointer towards that. Okay. Now, I still have not introduced myself, so I'll come to that. Now, in the screen, what you're seeing is my overall journey right from the time I was a little boy and then to where I finally left at the top of my position. When situation warranted that, it was enough. அது நீங்க பார்க்குற மாதிரி, it is not a straight line, it is not exponential, it is not steady. It has got many ups and many downs. Okay. Many ups and many downs, and this is typically this will be typically an experience of anybody who wants to achieve, assuming that I have achieved something. Okay, I don't want to say more, but what you can see in this, that it is never a straight line. At least it was not so, and I was not very steady. And you can see, I will not go to the full lengths. I will try to be brief on this slide. You can see that up to the age of close to 15, okay, let me put it this way. Up to the age of 7, I was very, very audacious. I was very bold. Okay. From 7 to close to 15, from bold, I became quite bullied. Okay. Then I got over this syndrome of getting bullied. I broke through that. And then again, I went up, I again came down. I had number of crises happening throughout my life. I will not go into everything, but you can see that it is always up and down. And then sometimes torture also is there. I won and again lost. And then there was a steady phase from 35 to 40. And again I lost. And then again I won. So this is typically with a little bit of percentage this way, that way, in a cycle of every achiever who is determined to achieve. I had seen some of ungaloda forms paakaracha, many of you were from the IT side, so I try to correlate with my cycle so that it gives you a sense of comfort that it is okay to fail. You will rise. It's a matter of time before you rise. Okay. Now, okay, I'll move on to the next question. Okay, now next slide. You find 4 pictures there basically. So I will illustrate very briefly. First thing is that you are seeing a small boy who's sitting in front of a TV. Okay, that is the very bold boy which I was. என்னோட வீட்டு பக்கத்துல, என்னோட ஸ்கூல் just 200 meters away from the school. So I studied, நான் 14 வருஷம் ஒரே ஸ்கூல்ல படிச்சேன். For the first 8 years, just 200 meters away, and the next remaining time, it was about a kilometer away, but the same school. So I and my principal, we were in the same house, divided by a partition. And as I was quite bold, I thought if you are a good student, you don't have anything to worry. So at the age of 7, I went into this place and saw a cricket match, India cricket match, bunking school because I was good. And then promptly, very soon, that information got leaked to my principal. He called me and gave me a dressing down. What is this? I don't expect this from you. But அதோட நிறுத்தல. Next day assembly in a forum of 1,000 people, a 7-year-old boy is brought and said, "How dare such a small, impudent boy come and watch television in my home? Look at his impudency." He just stopped short of taking my name. Okay. So till that time, I was very bold, but that shook me down completely. So, and then subsequent to that, I kind of lost my boldness slowly and steadily. Now, a few years later, what you see is about two boys kneeling down. It's me and another guy. I was actually, there was a Hindi teacher, okay, who actually hated me right from the time I was from the first standard. அவங்க என்ன பண்ணாங்கன்னா, she had a very venomous hatred. So 5வது கிளாஸ்லேருந்து 6வது கிளாஸ் போடுறச்ச we used to have pens. அப்போ வந்து நான் first there was one fellow whom I don't want to take. His name is U. He accused that I and another fellow, his name is B, were jointly responsible for the theft of his pen, and he told the class teacher, who is this Hindi teacher. நான் அப்போ வந்து 2 ஹிந்தி இருந்தது, லோவர் ஹிந்தி இருந்தது, ஹையர் ஹிந்தி இருந்தது. நான் இந்த ஹிந்தி டீச்சரை அவாய்ட் பண்றதுக்காக I took higher Hindi. Now this lower Hindi teacher, whose name is P, she came to the class barging at the first period and then singled both of us and said, "Both of you are thieves. You have stolen this fellow's pen. You will go down and kneel down for the entire day in front of everybody, in everybody's view for the whole day. You will not, then only you learn the lesson." There was no question of whether we were accused, no trial, nothing. I protested. I was simply told to shut up, and we meekly were dragged, and then we were punished. Now, that was a very big trauma at that time. We was to thanks sometimes, and then being and made to kneel down in front of the entire assembly was very, very humiliating. A second period got over. Everybody came down for recess and interval. The entire school kneeling down publicly under the sun. Okay. It was too humiliating, too cruel. I didn't know what to do. I just didn't know what to do. So then the people came, and I had already put in about 8 years already in the school. Nobody was my well-wisher, neither my friends, nor my classmates, nor my teachers whom I was associated. Nobody came and even asked me why this is. They thought I have done something cruelly wrong. Okay. And then that affected my psyche for a very long time. I was determined that this should not happen. And then at the 4th period, I told my friend, my co-accused, that I am not going to take it lying down. I said, I will escalate on the teacher to my principal. And I had the privilege of going home and having lunch because it was just 200 meters. I went home. I saw the principal was having lunch. I came and told him with tears that I have been accused of theft without even a proper inquiry, and a friend of mine is accused. So my principal said that, how can he be your friend if he has accused you? He laughed and then said, there is nothing to worry, my boy. You can go back to school. Okay. And I went back to this class with a little sense of victory that, yes, I have been able to secure some justice for myself. Adukappuram, after a few periods, the pen was found at the back bench, far away from my bench, and everybody saw that, but nobody, in fact, confronted the fellow who accused me. I actually let it go, but I was shocked that a teacher can be so vindictive towards a student. I let that boy, I forgave that boy, but the teacher, I couldn't let her go. Now she continued to taunt me 2 years later, humiliating me further and further. So that kind of dented my confidence and self-worth in myself for quite some time. So I just prayed that after the 9th standard, I don't have Hindi, I will break free, and I broke free. But it didn't. Though this incident might seem to be sometimes trivial, for a child who is innocent and who is a high performer to be maligned and disreputed like this leaves a very great scar. Okay. Now, subsequent to that, this is one part. On the other hand, வீட்டு பக்கத்துல I lived in Theosophical Society, so it was a very protected environment from Standard 8. So I used to be bullied by a number of people who were 6 to 8 years older than me, and they were my playmates. They were my playmates, but they used to make me cry. They used to abuse me. They used their younger brothers who were younger than me, they used to take part jointly and drag me. Now, I could take them one-on-one, but as a group, I couldn't manage. So for 7 years, from 10 to actually 9 to 16, I faced psychological also was not good. This was academic, just being nice and doing well in academics. That's all. But that also went for a toss when I was in standard 10. I from a
Rajesh,
from
உங்களோட
a
வாய்ஸ் பிரேக்
top
ஆகுது, நெட்வொர்க் இஷ்யூன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
3 rank after the
நெட்வொர்க் இஷ்யூனால we are facing some
exams were over.
break of voice.
I made, and அந்த டயத்துல வந்து எங்களுக்கு only academic was the only area where all right. So I was bullied by the group, and then for 9 years I suffered their torture. One bully at the neighborhood. I have 10 bullies, okay, completely. And there are teachers who are entire 14 years who was spitting venom throughout there were 2-3 teachers. I just gave an example of Hindi teacher. And it was a collateral, Uru hyena attacking a lion, not even a lion cub, I should say. So that's okay. I shouldn't play too much. Okay. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just go to the last part. I'll make it quick. I don't want to. There was a big cycle. They actually beat all by a mile. After that, the bullying completely stopped. And then because at the physical level, I matched them. At the academic level, I excelled them. And there was some respect. Now, the whole point I wanted to say is that it takes just one big act for the entire perception to change. I realized that at that particular point in time. Now, moving forward, this is my introduction. I help professionals greater than 5 years of experience to resolve their biggest avoided conflict within 100 days through the proven AW program. Now, AW already is the Aspirational Will program. And I help professionals with experience because everybody has one or two, and basically it's one very big conflict which they don't want to face, they keep avoiding. That is there. And I had this particular avoidance and the escapist mentality for a very long time because of the huge childhood traumas. It took a very long time for me to get over this escapist tendency. So having failed many times and then finally getting a breakthrough, so I decided this could be the area where I can help people. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'll tell you a little bit more on, I'll just briefly tell about some of the successes I have had. What you're seeing, and this I'll elaborate at the end also as case studies in detail. This is one of the testimonials which is there in Noomii. This is about Krishna, a very good technical IT QA testing manager, extremely competent skill wise, but he was not bold. He was completely timid and then he worked in a firm which was not paying him salaries for months together, and then finally asked him to go, and then wouldn't even pay him his notice period, wouldn't pay him in salary unless he signed in writing that this is what he's entitled to. So he had come to me as a career coach, and then I was doing, and during that time this happened. I said, this is nothing. This cannot be tolerated. You are taking it up against them, and I said you will take it up with the labor commissioner directly. Now, mind you, I am not in his place. I am in a faraway place, but I told him that you will take it up. He said no, 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 many times. And then at a point when I was about to give up, he got his strength back and he fought it against the firm and got multiple lakhs, which was due to him. Okay. And this is his testimonial to me, which is probably a little more than what I expected, but this is what he wrote to me. So this was one very big change. I could sense that I can give courage to people, solve their conflict. He had a huge conflict of not fighting for his worth. He underestimated his belief, his limiting belief. That was changed. Now, I'll be very brief about the remaining testimonials. At the top is you are seeing a CEO. He is from a very respected organization, himself a great achiever, but he could not make decision of his future. Yeah, Sundar, you had a question?
Unga screen share agala.
Is it okay now?
No.
I don't know, 1 second.
Now it started sharing. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Now it is okay.
Okay. So I'll share about the top one, about a CEO of a very big Indian government company. So he actually had a huge problem of not knowing what to do for future. He was an achiever himself, but he didn't know what to do for the future. So I spoke with him and I said, considering his experience, I will not take any money from him. No, but he persisted. He paid the money, but then he vanished for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. He had so much of hesitation, though he was a very bold and he was an achiever CEO. But when it came to his future, he was so timid. Then finally he joined, and then I had sessions with him that completely and radically changed his mindset for the future, and his self-worth changed from mediocre to great. Okay. His name is Vaibhav Singh. I will not go much on the testimonials. They are there already in Noomii.com. But essentially, I just wanted to say that I have done for B2B, B2C, IT people, as well as professionals like doctors, lawyers, air hostess, and pilots. Just a small segment. And this is basically what I help them get over their conflict mindset. Okay. I'm moving on to slide. This is on the misfit engineer. Okay. Now, I told you about how I coached people, and also what happened to me, but how was I at the initial phase of my career? Now, some people, and actually many of you people have written to me that you love your job, which is excellent. And I will use that to your advantage later. But you can see the slide right now. I got into IIT. Okay, I'll give a small introduction. I got into IIT. It was actually Banaras Hindu University by sheer grace. Okay, I was excellent in maths. I scored 100 before my board examination in 12th. And before getting into the board examination, somebody influenced me saying that I have to write a lot of steps. Ella steps. Then 5 minutes before the bell, I realized I have only 14 marks to fill, and a centum aspirant couldn't even complete 88 marks. I got about 84 only. So, and being from the forward caste, I didn't have any hopes that I will get even a good science college. Okay. So that completely devastated me. A top ranker who was expected to get a big rank does so poorly, and every one of my friends, classmates got much above 90. Okay. So I was devastated. I knew that I was done for. So there was nothing. But then I prayed, and then my mentor came at that time. He assured me that I will get into IIT if I did it properly. I somehow got through. Again, in IIT entrance, I screwed up my maths so badly. Again, I thought I won't even get anything in the. I mean, I was so demoralized at that time that I am not worth being even a science graduate. But somehow, by the grace, it's sheer grace that I got a rank. எனக்கு எந்த ரேங்க் வந்தாலும் பரவாயில்லன்னு சொல்லி I actually prayed to Ganesh, and I said I will do 1008 circumambulations, which I did it again in the last minute. So I somehow got into that. Now, after getting into college, again, my rankings were not steady. I have got the lowest, 5.57 GPA to 9. Everything I have seen, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just short of failing. Okay. So I knew that as an engineer, I was not great. And most of my time and leisure was spent in BHU library reading works of the mother and Sri Aurobindo. Okay. I was a complete loner. எனக்கு பேசுறது கூட ஒழுங்கா வராது because I studied 14 years in a very secluded place. I couldn't speak few words properly, completely a social misfit, and made very few friends in college also. Though later on it actually improved, but at that time it was very less. So college முடிஞ்சோன்னா I got my first job, and I was very disciplined and very nice, but that doesn't mean I was a great engineer. So what you are seeing is a person like me selecting wood. So first I had two jobs, one on Tisco as well as L&T. Tisco paid almost twice L&T, but பெருசா decision எடுத்து கிழிக்கிற மாதிரி I took L&T thinking I'll stay closer to Pondicherry, but that was not to be. It was a transferable job all over India, all over the remote. It was something like a army soldier. Okay. So first few months I had to work under a very high performing assistant general manager who in no time said that I was completely useless, didn't know anything, and which was true also at that time. And he was an awarded AGM. So once he took me along in his good mood to select wood for a government job, which was supposed to be in West Zone. So I selected some of the wood. He criticized that. And during that selection, as you can see, I suggested an idea where you can take damaged woods, you can take cracked woods, you can have wood. This is supposed to be a premium wood. You can take premium wood even covered with damages if you know how to correctly cut it, curve it for the right positions for various dimensions. Now this high performing AGM didn't look at that from that angle, so he was impressed by my only great idea in that entire 4 months. He said, it is fine, you select the entire 1400 cubic feet of wood, which was valued close to about $40,000 to $45,000 at that time, and then you ensure that it gets cleared at the invest zone. Okay. Now, எனக்கு உட்ட பத்தி ஒரு மண்ணும் தெரியாது. I just knew a little bit, which I told to save my prestige. He liked it, but then he said I have to select and then deliver, get it cleared at Bombay. Now, having selected it, there was another inspector who came with me for 14 days to Kerala. We selected the wood. Then it was sent. Just before it was being sent, the executive assistant of the AGM said, good luck to you. I asked him, why are you saying good luck? Last year, we had a similar project. Somebody like you selected all the wood. It went to West Zone. And then I asked what happened. 90% got rejected. I said, you must be joking. No, he said, very same. And the inspector who was with you this time was the very same inspector last time. He cleared it here, and then there, I don't know what happened. It got rejected. 90% rejected. Now, this is in the year 1992, 93. 90% rejection of a $50,000 wood means it tantamounts to dismissal, or I may not probably get another job. Okay. Now, so he actually intimidated me and psyched me in a way before I went. Now, after that, I got posted to West Zone. West Zone people were very nice to me and said, we will not take orders from your South Zone AGM. You will work in a place not where he is deputing you, but a little further away. So I was thrilled beyond words. I thanked them. I went to the new place of work. just for about 2 weeks, when my the AGM wrote a letter, stinging letter to my boss, 2 levels above me, saying that all the wood I have selected are getting about 80 to 90% rejection. And then I don't know what the hell Rajesh is doing. Ask him to do something about it. It was like a court order, which I couldn't do anything. So I tried to escape with my boss saying, I am not responsible now, I am not with him. My boss, knowing fully well the organizational politics, he said, no, just sort it out. He just downplayed it. Now, then I was in the second job in West Zone. I was very, very mediocre, and I used to be the butt of everybody's jokes. Despite being very highly qualified, despite being quite knowledgeable, I didn't have that tenacity or the boldness at that time to manage people. That was a big lacuna. So I was getting pounded on all sides in the current job. And over and above that, this crisis came. I just didn't know what to do. So I just prayed. I called my guru from Gujarat and said, "Say me, I don't know what to do. I think I should resign and come." He said, "No, you can go. Nothing will happen." I had no faith at all. So I went to the place where the wood had disembarked, and I saw a 80-year-old carpenter. Fully, he had seen full life, full white hair. So I told him, I am the person who was selected the wood. I was told there are some problems. So he told me straight that there are no problems. About 90% are going to get rejected. You have got third-rate wood. This is not the way wood has to be selected. He told me for 10-15 minutes. So the little bit of confidence I had, thinking I will solve, evaporated. So I was close to in a complete crisis. So I decided enough is enough. I told him, look here, Mr. Carpenter, I have done my best. I told him the rationale, how I did it. And it is completely up to him to pass or fail. And I won't hold anything against him. But I told him this is what I did with full sincerity. That's all I spoke to. I spoke to him for 10-15 minutes. That man was struck by the authenticity, not by my brilliance or any such thing. I was very authentic to him. He looked me up and down and said, okay, my boy, you go back to your work. All the wood is selected. Okay. I will manage it. I am a seasoned man to use this. You get back to your work. That's all he said. So that was my first big victory in my career. Okay. I was nothing. I was a complete neophyte, knowing nothing of anything. But what my boss couldn't do the previous year, what he couldn't do this year, I could do. But the whole point was that this is the victory didn't even register for me for about 14 years, because that was how I was. I was too overwhelmed with work that I couldn't even acknowledge a very big victory for myself. Okay. So why am I saying is that you people could be at various stations in life. You may have a good opinion about yourself. You may have a bad opinion about yourself. You think you are mediocre. All these are absolutely irrelevant if you are determined to be sincere, you have aspiration and the will to succeed. That's what I want to say. Any questions right now? I don't know whether you people are understanding what I'm saying for the lack of feedback, but any questions you can feel free to ask me.
நல்லா இருந்தது எனக்கு ஆக்சுவலா ஐ வாண்டட் டு கிவ் தட் அட் திஸ் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் ஜங்க்சர் ஐ வாண்டட் டு ஷேர் மை ஃபீட்பேக் யுவர்
yes
ஐ எம் அபவுட் டு சே என்னடா இவங்க ரொம்ப அந்த ஒரு படம் வந்து ஒரு இதுல டிப் ஆகிற மாதிரி இருந்ததே அவங்க புராணம் the moment you share is any crisis can be saved by the grace அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு உண்டான அதுதான் எங்களோட டேக்லா இருந்தது. ஏன்னா சிச்சுவேஷன் வந்து உங்களோட கரியர்ல ஒரு இம்பார்ட்டன்டான இது. அவ்வளவு கோடி லாஸ் ஆக போது உங்களை தூக்கி எங்க வீசுவாங்கன்னு தெரியாது. So any crisis can be saved if we are sincere. Correct?
Yes, if you are sincere, yes, sincere is your self-effort. You should have an aspiration. As I said, if you are a Buddha, you can handle anything. But we have one Buddha in 2,500 years. Okay. We are normal, ordinary people, but we can get our strength by having aspiration and faith. That's what I want to say.
Carry on.
Okay. Next I'll come to a very important thing in my career. So I worked for 5 years in L&T, and 5 years, very hard work I did. I don't think I was a great performer. I had my spots of brilliance. And then finally, I was posted to Assam. And then that was about 2,500 kilometers away from Chennai, extreme end of India, where I was doing MRP, materials requirement planning for a field work. Now, I did 6 months work in 1 month purely because of my determination and whatever knowledge I had, which of course, in கூட இருக்கிறவங்க யாருக்கும் ஒன்றும் புரியல, except the fact that I'm doing something great. But they couldn't really appreciate what I did. Now, during that time, I had my second attack of malaria. Already 95, I had a malaria, which was in a very nice town. So I was protected. There was no problem. Nice doctors. There was no problem at all. This attack in malaria in Assam was terrible. There was nobody with me there. I was vented to be alone. Haniya irundhu kuda yarum kadiyadu. Daily at about 12 o'clock, the temperature used to shoot to 105 and nobody is there with you. Consistently, it used to come for 5 days. Sixth day, I had no strength even to get down from the bed. So it was so bad. Somehow I summoned up, and then my roommate came fortunately that day. I told him, let's go to the doctor. So please arrange for something. I went to the doctor. He was a very reputed doctor who had left his practice in Mumbai to practice in Assam. So anga ulla poracha or 20 பேர் இருந்தாங்க. I had zero strength, no appointment, and there was a queue of 20 people. I knew I was dying. So I literally begged them to let me in, otherwise I will die in front of them. Sorry. So they were nice. They let me in. I went to the doctor. The doctor was too shocked to see me. He said, "Why have you come now?" Indicating clearly that there is no chance of my survival. So he said that, let me see, and then you try getting admitted to hospital and then we can see. Which clearly said that there is a very remote chance of me to survive. Okay. I knew my faith was going at that time. I was sure I will die. Okay. That's a completely different experience. When you know that you are about to, you have to feel it to say that you are dying. So somehow I went into that hospital. The moment I stepped into the ward, then I got my strength back that I can probably make it. And then I made a pact. I made a pact that if I survive, I will change my life around. I will definitely change my life around. So it was a supreme crisis. And then somehow I could pull through, and grace again rescued me. Okay. I would have died in 97 September, sure. But somehow I made it. Once I got cured after 15 days, I decided it is very clear. We can be anybody, we can be anything in life, but that is nothing when you are in front of death. So my promotion was not given 5 years work. That didn't matter to me. Respect all that went into the vapor. I decided I should live to fight and win another day. And I just got up and packed. Once I got well, I didn't even give my resignation letter. I said, I have faith in my parents that they will fend for me. I'll get a job, but this is not the place. And they didn't even give me a transfer to Chennai, despite me facing death. So I just packed the bags, left, and then came to Chennai without even giving a resignation letter. Very, very grateful that I have got the second chance in life, which I will turn it around. Then 6 months again, of course, it was not a bed of roses. 6 மாசம் மூணு நாலு மாசம் I didn't get a job. That was a very humbling experience. I thought I will get 5 to 10 jobs for experience. I was shown on the face where I was. There were many interviews. I went up to the final round, and then I got blown at the last round. So it was pretty tough, but it was still okay. It was nice to have life and then fight rather than not having any. So I then got a job, and then as a systems analyst, and then my career started to slowly flourish. Now, that was in 97. And next slide I have put, I worked very hard, and then I had my ups and downs. I don't want to go too much into that. Okay, it's already 8:50. So what you're seeing is that in 2006, I was awarded the best counselor in Accenture. I went through a few firms before joining Accenture. Accenture, I got the best counselor. It was 1 in 10,000 people. I just loved doing that, and accidentally HR took note of it, and they gave me this award. So this is just to show basically the contribution of others in unraveling my strengths. I would have never known that I was a good counselor, but for HR and for others recognizing it. Okay, now that was one part. Now next comes the niche part. Now, every one of you here, I mean, many of you have said you enjoy your job, which means you are absolutely passionate about it. I didn't have that clarity till about 34 to 35. Having been in software and having a good knowledge of database, I thought that was not enough. I should know more of coding. So I kind of wavered. Coding, a typical IT mentality comes. And however, good coder, you cannot excel the coder, a programmer, because he is specifically programmed for that. So I didn't know what I was till about 34 years of age. And what I have given a representation is about a confrontation. So எங்களுக்கு ஒரு நல்ல ப்ராஜெக்ட் வந்தது ஆக்சென்ச்சர்ல. So I had a very good technical lead whom I had groomed, நல்லா groom பண்ணி I had even promoted. But invariably, what happens is that one promotes somebody, and this was a very bitter lesson for me. They think that they deserve everything, and she went aside and again.
Voice break ஆகுது. Again, we are facing some breaking issue.
Yeah, then finally situation happened. Is it okay, Sundar?
Yeah, okay.
Hello, Sundar? Okay.
Okay.
Then finally one
voice break ஆயிட்டு.
Okay. So I'll summarize it. Finally one product release happened, and at that time that release went into a mess. Now she was a project leader, but too clever. She tried to push that point onto me. Okay, that I am responsible for that. I was a manager for that. So she had come down to India at that time. So I told her, how did this release fail? So she said, this is completely technical. You will not understand. I said, I want to understand that. So let's get into a room and please explain to me entirely how this is released from the scratch. She was so confident that, yes, I will explain to you. So I took another person for objectivity, took that particular person and then went into a very big whiteboard. It was about 25 or 30 feet by 4 feet, very big whiteboard in a client conference room. I asked her to explain. So she started explaining confidently.
Again, we lost your voice.
Process,
screen share voice
I
break
figured out things. I 90-minute. Okay, sorry again. I don't know, buddy.
If you want to share, you can share. Otherwise, you can go talking.
Okay, there is nothing, but yeah. So just to reiterate that, 1 second.
Now it's sharing.
Yeah. So at the end of 90 minutes, it was very clearly pointed out that she.
ஒருத்தங்க யூஎஸ்ல இருந்து வந்தாங்க, அத பத்தி சரியா கேட்கல. அத சுருக்கமா சொன்னீங்கன்னா ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும்.
I will try to shorten it. Okay. See, what you are seeing is basically a project leader whom I had groomed and promoted. She was a very good.
உங்களுக்கு கீழ வேலை பார்த்துட்டு உங்களுக்கு விட ப்ரமோட் ஆகி மேல போயிட்டாங்களா?
தல தெறிக்க ஓடினாங்க. So no one could control. She was client's pet. Everybody were under her thumb. I was her boss, but I do it. But release 90 minutes of complete interrogation. It was like a courtroom interrogation. The
again we are facing issues. I think
She cheated and confessed her mistake at the 90-minute diagnosis meeting I had with her on the whiteboard. Everything was put on the whiteboard. She had to confess that it's her mistake. So, Adil, I had a very big learning that this is my niche. I can diagnose complex problems easily. I cannot be a good talker. I cannot be a good social guy. I cannot be great at relationships, but I can definitely diagnose complex problems. This was a very complex problem, which only she thought she can get away with probably murder. Okay. So that was, sorry, again, I lost it. So that was a big learning for me. One second. Okay, so this is how I discovered my niche. So, unga side la, many of you are there. Now, I think I have spoken more about myself. The whole context of me telling is that நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து you like your job, which is great as a niche, but some people don't know your niche. So you have to first basically identify your sweet spot where you are excellent. That is very, very important. And then you will have to charter work or life around that. Important. Otherwise, you will go from one aim to another aim, and then half your life will go away. I actually literally got it at my 35th year where I was really good. So that was something very great, very late, but a great opening for me. Okay. Any questions right now? I mean, we'll move on to the method. Okay, now I'll come back to the main essence of the program, Aspiration Will. Now, many people have this time management problem and the conflict management problem. In the conflict, first thing is that உங்களுக்கு வந்து careerல conflict இருக்கலாம், உங்க வீட்டுல problem இருக்கலாம், lifeல problem இருக்கலாம், but essentially it is a problem which you have with yourself. That is the root cause. இப்ப நீங்க வந்து if you are not a friend of yourself, why should anybody else be a friend of you? Why should anybody be a well-wisher of you? That is a thing which you will have to ask and seriously consider. இப்போ உங்களால ஏதாவது decision எடுக்க முடியல, you take a lot of time to decide. There is a lot of internal conflicts. If you don't start address your internal conflict or your biggest internal conflict, then you will have a full life of conflicts only with probably no peace. So what I am interpreting and what I would want to share is basically being a friend of yourself. Now, how do you start being comfortable with yourself? So I start with this method of stillness. நீங்க எல்லாரும் காத்தால 7 மணிக்கு எழுந்துப்பீங்க, 6 மணிக்கு எழுந்துப்பீங்க. Sometimes 8 IT people get up very late telling that they have late work. What I would want you to start from tomorrow, and actually this is there already in my LinkedIn profile, the entire 30-day program. நாளையிலிருந்து காத்தால you will have to get up early in the morning. Okay, if you can get up at 4:30, it is the best one. காத்தால எழுந்த உடனே without thinking, go have a clear shower. You are completely full of brain fog, physical inertia. You have your shower, it will take you off your complete inertia. And the next thing you do is your mind should be clean. Mind should be clean in the sense it should not be having fog. So do some 5-minute activity, which is non-media, something you can do. And then is a part of you being comfortable with yourself positively. This is very, very important. என்ன பண்ணணும்னா நீங்க வந்து you should sit in your chair. It can be an easy chair, whatever it is. You should have no access to video or audio at that time. You should close your eyes. There should not be even music at that time. You have to be just sit still. That's all for about 10 to 15 minutes. I have specifically put Swami Vivekananda's photo because he is supposed to be perfect in meditation. So I am not saying you have to be like that, but you have to sit still for 15 minutes. And mind you, you should not open your eyes. You should not move your fingertip, nothing. Completely still. Now, once you start doing that, you will understand the tremendous amount of internal conflicts you are having. ஒரு உட்கார்ந்த 3வது நிமிஷம் 4வது நிமிஷம் இல்ல போறோம் எழுந்துக்க தோணும். So many of you will get up also because you are not being comfortable with yourself. If you are an IT professional, you are more tuned to from in to out. You can spend 20 hours with your computer for days together, but you cannot spend 10 to 15 minutes with yourself generally. I am not saying everybody cannot do. Some can do. But this is a practice you have not done for years of being comfortable with yourself. So I would want you to take this first step. There have been people who have been saying procrastination, I am overwhelmed. The first step is that you have to be comfortable with yourself. So you can be comfortable with yourself. You can do japa, but you should not move on any account. There should be no mobility at all. You can even hum any song inside, but there should not be movement outside. Or you can be grateful to people, whatever thought, but there should not be any movement. So the 10-15 நிமிஷம் நீங்க பண்ணணும் daily. Once you start doing that, and over time, your willpower, which is probably low or not much, will start increasing because you are controlling yourself. You are becoming slowly a master of yourself. So this is the first step. Now, after you do this for 15 minutes, again, you should do a 5-minute kind of a work which you have been procrastinating. நீங்க என்ன ஒர்க் பண்ணலாம்னு யோசிப்பீங்க. If you sit for 10-15 minutes, உங்களுக்கே தெரியும் there are a number of things which you have been postponing, you are not doing at all. Make a list of all of them. Start doing one 5-minute work after your meditation or stillness and do it. அது 5 நிமிஷத்துல உங்களால முடியாது, அது 20 நிமிஷம் ஆகும், எவ்வளவு டைம் ஆனாலும் start doing that. Just one per day after your meditation. This is very, very important. Now, once you start doing that, you will find your willpower increasing, your aspiration. You're already connected with a higher force because of your stillness. You will start slowly seeing the results for yourselves. This is the first thing. Any question on this? I'll again revisit this a little later, but any questions on this? Hello? Any questions, Sundar? Nothing?
No, you carry on.
Okay. Okay, now we come to aspiration with vigilance. Okay. What's that? This morning, 4:30 மணிக்கு எழுந்து, you have 2 hours for you to do this, and it is a question of just about 30 minutes. Okay. 1/2 மணி நேரம் நீங்க வந்து 2 மணி நேரம் எடுத்து பண்ணலாம். No problem at all. You will be able to do. உங்களுக்கு no boss, 99.9% will not get up at the time you get. So you have no excuse. You cannot blame anybody for this. So this is the first part of stillness is very, very important. You can do if you are determined. The second part is vigilance. Now, I will give a quote of Mother and Sri Aurobindo on this. See, if you are vigilant, you change every circumstances of your life. If you are vigilant, you can do it in a few days, what would otherwise take many, many years. Now, this has come from the Supreme directly. I very strongly believe in this for 2 reasons. Is that for many years, I never had the skill of vigilance at all. By my own self-appraisal, I'm saying. I was a mechanical engineer. I did my work mechanically, and I told till the age of 35, I didn't even know my niche to a great extent. It took a blow and an ordeal for it to come. So vigilance is something which many of you are young should start implementing it. Now, what is exactly this vigilance and why it is important? Now, vigilance is a completely situational decision which you will take during the course of the day only when you are alert. It really does not mean that you have to spare time for that. No. If you are alert, you will know the opportunity and you have to act. But நம்ம subconsciousல இருக்கிற conditioningனால உங்களுக்கு தெரியும் என்ன பண்ணணும்னு, but your subconscious will prevent you from acting. Now, this is one thing you should start doing every day, at least 4 to 5 per day. But I am telling you, it took years for me to come to some grip of vigilance. It may take months for you, but I don't want you to even take months. It may take weeks for you to even get the first vigilant management. This is very, very important. See, there are situations where நீங்க ஒரு decide பண்ணா, you know, it is good, but you will not do. Vigilance is exactly to say that you have to do. You should be bold enough to do that. Now, I will explain that with the photograph which is there in front of you. Now, what you're seeing is a disciple called Aruni from the Indian culture, I'm saying. See, his guru actually had a number of very good students, and he had a farm where agricultural land which was used, and then the people worked on it. And the person whom you're seeing lying down is called Aruni. He was one of his very good pupils, and his job was to ensure that the field was properly irrigated. Now, one day it was raining, and then he had to go to the class. So between going to the class of his guru and then knowing that a flood is coming, he had to take a decision whether to skip the class or save the crops of the guru. Now, as a disciple, attending class is important, but he decided no, the crops are more important than the studies. So there was no cell phone or any such thing in those days. He took a decision in that rain that he will prevent the water which was trying to rush into his guru's crops, and he will save that. He took that decision and lay down. Okay. Then morning classes get over, afternoon gets over. Then his guru realizes that his favorite pupil has not come. He asks everybody, nobody knows where he is. Then it strikes him that probably Aruni is in the field. So he goes out in search for him, calling his name, Aruni, my boy, where are you? Late in the evening, Aruni's feeble voice comes, Gurudev, I am here. Sorry. The guru is completely aghast at what Aruni did. Such a devoted disciple putting his life on the line for his crop. Okay. The guru is actually moved beyond words. So he lifts him, nurses him, and nurses him back to health, and then says, Aruni, sorry, Aruni, you don't have any more education to complete. You have learned everything. Okay. So the entire knowledge of Gurukula, which the guru was supposed to impart for the many years, Aruni gets it by sheer vigilance, devotion, and grace. Okay. The guru gives him, says, you can now become a sage, and imparts all the knowledge because of his sheer dedication and vigilance. Okay. So this is exactly what I want to say. You don't have, many people say, I have so many years experience, I am sincere. Nothing to do. Vigilance and sincerity have nothing to do with seniority. Aruni was one of the youngest sages as far as I know. Now, I will give another example of another boy named Ashtavakra, who was actually cursed by his father for speaking out of turn in his mother's womb, and he was twisted at 8 places. Now, in a debate, Ashtavakra's father lost to a sage Dhaumya, and he drowned in a lake. He was made to drown. Ashtavakra, at the mere age of 8, he went into Janaka's court, challenged that sage Dhaumya, and defeated him and asked him to drown. Basically, he was a messenger from Indra, and then got back his father. Now, before the challenge was that anybody who challenges that sage Dhaumya will meet death if they fail. Now, Ashtavakra was a mere 8-year-old boy. So he still said that sincerity and seniority have nothing to do with, I know what I am talking, and answers every questions, and then takes that sage Dhaumya into a corner and then defeats him. So many people have the illusion of experience, but it is nothing to do with experience. Vigilance is a very God-given gift which you can cultivate if you have the right aspiration. You will definitely see from morning till evening, many small situations come where you don't act when you have to act. That is an example of vigilance. So I actually want you people to cultivate this habit of vigilance daily so that you progress faster in your life more than your career. So that's one part I wanted to say. Now, if you are able to do 4 to 5 actions over time vigilantly, then give yourself 5 points for each, and then 5 into 5, 25 points every day you will do. Now, I have a, okay, I don't know where my, okay, I don't have my, I have a pocket diary which I track down whatever I'm saying, things or the actions which I have to do vigilantly. I track for 4. That is enough for me. But that is something which is very essential if you have to progress. Okay, this is the second part of aspiration. The first was the stillness part. The second part is the vigilance part. Now I'll come to the third part of the method, which is the will part, which I will explain it to you. Any questions right now, or you need me to, you need any more clarifications? Let me know.
So,
Is it making sense or it's nonsense?
no, it is making sense. It is making
No,
sense.
it is making sense to you. What about the rest? I don't have any feedback. Yeah.
No, you can do it. நீங்க என்ன
Okay.
இது கிரைசிஸ் வந்து நீங்க அழகா உங்களோட லைஃப் ஹிஸ்டரியில இருந்து சொன்னீங்க. எப்படி நீங்க வந்து ஒரு மீடியோக்கர் லெவல்ல இருந்து சைல்ட்ஹுட் ட்ராமால வந்துட்டுங்கிறத உங்களோட செல்ஃப் இதுல இருந்தே சொல்லிட்டு now you are coming to the practical implementation which is working
Yeah,
for
this is a
everyone.
practical implementation. Okay.
Please proceed for the next
Now,
because we have
okay.
15 to 20 minutes more.
Now, next we come to willpower. Okay, will develop. I have put 4 things there. One is now will I am actually dissecting into 4 areas where you can develop your will. One is on the niche and the work, number 1. Number 2 is non-media hobbies. Third is no media formula. And fourth is routines, which are again non-media. Now, the biggest thing, see, all of you have work, you are professionals, you will work nicely, so that's fine. So if you're working, that you already develop a willpower in that. Now, the point where many of you people, and especially in IT, I have been a victim of this, so I know this, is that in the absence of work and when you have free time, invariably with the inundation of phones, we have a number of meaningless content which is saturating us and which we are giving more due than what it is for. So I will just digress little to the no media. It is basically no to 5 things, MEDIA. Now, M stands for meaningless content. So I have seen many marriages which I have done coaching break up because of meaningless content, going into social media, wasting time, and then falling emotionally and traumatically, wrecking the marriage. So the meaningless content which many of us are naturally prone to, you should eliminate. Now, eliminating that is very difficult over years of habit. So you should limit it to just about 5 minutes every 2 hours. It's not possible to not to consume content. So this is the first thing. Now, no media is basically the basis of developing will. If you are doing very well in no media, you will develop willpower very fast and achieve things fast. Now, the second and third, E and D, are very simple. No eating out of turns and no drinks means no alcohol. These two are not very difficult for you people, especially in IT or in other professions. Once you are getting completely carried away at work, you will not eat. So these two are very easy for you. The fourth part is idling. Now, this is exactly where most of the problem comes. You all people will work the whole day very well, exceptional work, extraordinary work. When you come home, you will switch on the TV, get into news, which is negative usually, or see Netflix or Amazon or anything else. You idle. The precious gains you have done for the day, you will exhaust it by what you call meaningless acts of idleness. Now, this is very dangerous over a period of time, and I have seen it happen in many cases, especially in the marriage cases, that divorces happen, or divorces tend to happen, or breakups happen only because they didn't know how to salvage the idle time. So idling is something which you should consciously avoid. Now, how do you avoid? I'll come to that. And the last thing is anger. Now, one last thing about idling is that Sri Aurobindo has said, an idiot hour destroys work of centuries in Savitri. It is a work of centuries which gets destroyed in an idiot hour. We spend countless hours idling, so you can understand the impact it has on your progression and achievement in life. Now, I'll go to the last part, which is the anger. Anger is something which is impossible to actually master. Very, very impossible. It was very difficult for Swami Vivekananda also, Sri Aurobindo mentioned. It is very difficult for even avatars like Parashuram also. But in this context, I'll give an example of how Sri Rama subdues the tempestuous anger of Parashurama. I would want you to watch the Ramayana where Arun Govil acted, and the scene where Parashurama comes. I would want you to experience it and see it tomorrow, Sunday. When Parashurama comes to Mithila and then thunders at Rama that who is the fellow who has broken that Shiv Dhanush? And just before that, Rama comes and bows, I'm your servant, that's all, and goes away. Then when he comes to know Rama has done, he thunders at him, how dare you do it? You give me your introduction. I am going to kill you and you will have the benefit of destruction on my hand. So Rama beautifully says, okay, Parashurama has killed 21 generations of Kshatriyas, but one single word of Rama douses his entire anger, okay? So anger is controlling anger. I don't think anger mastery is something is humanly possible, but controlling anger is very, very important. Sri Aurobindo himself said that whatever unpleasantness of the circumstances, however disagreeable the conduct of others, you must learn to live, you must learn to receive them with absolute calm and without any disturbing behavior. Okay. So what I am expecting is that for your will to develop, if you follow no media formula itself every day, your will be gigantically improved. Okay. Now, there are two other things. Routines are there and non-media hobbies are there. Now, you can pick up one of the non-media hobbies, and I'll come to that a little later, and routines, which are just 5 to 10 minutes, which you should try to put at specific times when you know that you're going to be a victim of idleness or the temptation of seeing meaningless content. So this is something I can help people, but it'll take time. I got through to these routines and non-media hobbies over years and years of failures, and finally I could succeed to a reasonable extent. Okay, now this is all required. Now, if you are okay, now to the next 1 second.
There is a
Now,
question.
I have mentioned basically
ஒரு கொஸ்டின்
what is
கேட்டிருக்காங்க.
the
ஒரு கொஸ்டின் கேட்டிருக்காங்க.
yeah,
நீங்க மார்னிங்
sure.
4 o'clock 4:30 எந்திரிக்கணும், wake up early, அந்த இது சொல்லியிருந்தீங்க இல்லையா?
Yeah, okay. Now, this is a brief intro of my non-media management routines. This is of not much relevance to you. I can help you figure it out for people who you want. Okay. This probably we have already exceeded the time. So we'll go to the next one. Now, how do you sum it all together? So this is, we have, now again, I'll come back to the main thing. In times of crisis, nothing really matters to you. So that is, if you are having crisis, time management, conflict management, nothing will work. Now, the same thing happens when you are having conflict. If you are not able to manage conflicts, your time management will go for a toss. Now, once you have had a handle on conflict management, your time management kicks in. Now, how you can do that? I have just put a simple Excel sheet for you, and it will be of relevance to you, and this is what I basically practice. Now, how do you know that you are doing well on time management and conflict management? Now, the first line you are seeing on the top, aspiration, I have already covered with you. If you are getting up at 4:30, let's say till 5:30, you can do whatever has been already said. Then subsequently, you will have 1 hour or so. Let's say at 5:30 to 7:30, do 1 hour of work undisturbed. This is very, very important. நீங்க வீட்ல இருந்தாலும் சரி, வெளியில you will be mostly at home only at 5:30. You should do your work or your niche where you are exceptionally
ஸ்கிரீன்
good
கொஞ்சம்
for
கம்மியா
1
தெரியுது
hour.
ராஜேஷ்னா உங்க ஸ்கிரீன் கொஞ்சம் ஃபுல் ஸ்கிரீன் பண்ண முடியுமா?
Okay, I will try.
ஓகே பெட்டர்.
Okay, I will. Okay, wait. Okay. So
உங்களுக்கு வியூவர்ஸ்ல இருந்து ஒரு क्वेश्चन கேட்டிருக்காங்க, பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ல இருந்து ஒரு क्वेश्चन chat boxல போட்டிருக்காரு சுனில். As per you, what is fulfilled life or success? Is making money a success in life or something else?
Okay. As per me, making money is not a success. Okay. I have not spoken till date about making money. It is about making your life a success. Once you make your life a success, money will roll on to you naturally. Now, why I am saying it? I retired 11 years back at 42 at the height of my career. Okay. I was a director. I had a 400. Yes, I was director with a 400 member team, but my heart was not there. 20 வருஷம் உழைச்சது போறோம். 20 வருஷம் 42 வயசு ஆச்சு, and if you continue to work 50 ஆகும் 60 ஆகும், and suddenly you will have cancer or you may suddenly kick the bucket. அப்ப எதுக்காக பிறந்தோம்னு it will be a big question mark. So that is quite personal to me. I didn't feel that alignment. But if you are very passionate in your niche, உங்க niche உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சதுன்னா, it will roll in money in unimaginable ways, provided that is the area of you are destined for. That's a good question. And I forgot to mention this part. Everybody in the universe is unique. They have a very unique background, unique ordeals, unique success. And my own niche is very clear. I help people win over that one unresolved or avoided conflict and make them into a success. I mean, you will once you resolve the one which is holding you back, you will succeed a lot. Okay.
Sudha,
so that's a good question. I wanted to say that.
Mention பண்ணிருக்காங்க. Sudha also, session is more inspiring and very much useful, though we have multiple breaks. Hope Rajesh sir is being recorded.
I'll blame Sundar for that. I wanted to do it separately in Saturday, Sunday. Usually it happens. So network hits. Now I'll come to the last part of your time management specifically.
Please.
Now see, I have mentioned for 5:30 to 7:30.
இல்ல கம்மியான்னு கேக்குறாங்க ஒருத்தர் சுனில் வந்து 8 hours sleep-ஆ இல்ல கம்மியா இருக்கணுமா அப்படின்னு கேக்குறாரு.
Actually உங்களுக்கு 7 மணி நேரம் தூங்கினா போறோம். I'll come to that. Actually what I have put in my schedule is just about 6.5 hours sleep. And then as you go through the table, you will find that you are working basically for 5 hours. You have okay, I'll go step by step. I don't want to rush through that. For 5:30 மணிலேருந்து 7:30 மணி வரைக்கும், you should do 1 hour work, that's all. So that even if you are getting interrupted, you will complete your work. Okay. Similarly, 9:30 to 1:30 நீங்க work பண்றீங்கன்னா, do 1 hour completely undisturbed work பண்ணுங்க. அதே மாதிரி 2லேருந்து 8 மணி வரைக்கும் ஒரு மணி நேரம் work பண்ணா போதும். That is enough for you. Okay. If you do all that, see, if you do 5 uninterrupted hours of work in your niche or specialty, give yourself 5 points. Okay. So if you do for 5 hours, it is 5 into 5, 25 points. You get every day. Okay. We have already covered aspiration, you get 25. Now the third part is no media. I said you had MEDIA. Give yourself 5 if you succeed in all. And I'm telling you, you will never succeed. You won't even get more than 10 to 15 every day in your initial stages, because you will invariably go to Facebook, consume content, which is not allowed. So every time you consume such content beyond your 5-minute delays, give yourself -1. So you won't get more than 10 initially. So, but that is the main area for you to develop will. Okay. So no media, the expectation is 25, but if you get 10, it is great. And the last part is vigilance, which I have put about 5 over the period of the day from morning till night. If you are able to get 5 vigilant situations which you have acted properly, give 5 for each. So 5 into 5, 25. So if you do all perfectly, you will get 100. Now, எவ்வளோ time நீங்க spend பண்றீங்க? காத்தால you are supposed to spend only half an hour. You have 2 hours, so you have extra time. But you should not go to you should use the no media formula. Now, மத்த timeல you still have totally close to about 6 hours per day you will save, which is available to you for you to use, which you can develop another skill or do something very constructive or make your hobby a second line for your making money also. There is nothing wrong in making money. I have put some of the hobbies which I practice, which is not necessary that you should practice. What is very specific to you, you should take it. Okay. So if you implement this on time management, and you will save, you are supposed to save close to about at least 6 hours per day easily, and you can make a success. But as I said, this no media formula is the most dangerous thing which people are not able to do while they are good at work. Well, they can even get up early, and even if they are vigilant also, they are not good at no media. That actually hits your willpower. Now the question happens is that, yes, I have a lot of time. How do I take it forward for me? So I have put an Excel below that take a 15-day program, Monday to Sunday for 2 weeks, 14-day program. List down all your hard, medium, and easy things. Now, hard is something which you are procrastinating all the time, but it will take 5 minutes to do. But you invariably take 20 minutes even if you start. Doesn't matter. Start with that. Same for medium and same for easy. You make a list of that and start attacking slowly one by one. It is not necessary that you have to do that you take on a weekly basis. Around Monday to Sunday, some of the Saturday jobs you can do first, some of the Wednesday you can do first. At the end of the week, you should ensure that you have completed everything based on your time availability, which you get implementing in a focused way of working on your niche as well as getting up early in the morning. Any questions? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've exceeded a lot. I will give a couple of, now I just want to know what are the case studies people want to hear. I mean, I am going to talk about 2 case studies, but what is the interest level on people?
Rajesh,
Talking
I'm sorry
purely
for the
from a
interruption.
professional
We are
perspective, and what
running
is the
out of time. Sorry for the interruption. நம்ம வந்து ரொம்ப நம்மளோட maximum limit is until 9 actually. So people are joining from the different time zones. அதனால நீங்க quickly can you please wrap up for 5 minutes in 5 minutes please? Is it possible?
Okay, I will try to do it in 5 minutes. The first case is on a career for a professional. What you're seeing on the left is a bank officer who was extremely timid. She was just like the character of Choti Si Baat, a very famous movie in 70s where Amol Palekar started. He couldn't achieve anything. His juniors bulldozed him. His seniors trampled him. He couldn't get a friend also, and he was afraid to do anything. And Ashok Kumar comes into his life and coaches him to success. Now, I had no clue that I will get a student like that, except that instead of Amol Palekar, it was a girl. That's all. And in a matter of 2 months, she exactly transformed herself to a high 5-star achiever. Her basic success was that she was very high in no media. Okay, she had no issues in having a disciplined approach. The rest of them just fell in place. Now, the second case study, which I'm saying, is about Krishna, whom I had told initially about how, despite being an IT manager, he was very timid, but he took the case to the court, though when he was not paid, he took it to the labor commissioner, won against a very cruel firm, made them pay all the money dues to him, and subsequently set an example for others to follow. And others went to the labor commissioner and fought, and a few also got. Now, I'm sorry, because of the paucity of time, these are some incredible success stories which I thought I will cover in great depth, but we don't have the time, so I am leaving it at that. But anybody what is our biggest conflicts, and that's where a coach steps in. He'll help you to get that out. And then simultaneously, you will find your biggest strength. You will use your biggest strength to destroy your biggest conflict. So that's the synopsis of what I wanted to convey. Okay. So if it could be done with about 50 plus people whom I have put it on Noomii, there are hundreds more I have not shared because of client confidentiality. Those who are really are aspirants and who are determined to develop their will, they can succeed and go to any level in life they want. Okay. So thank you. I'll leave it at that. I wish there was some more time.
தேங்க்யூ ராஜேஷ்னா. ஆக்சுவலி ரொம்ப எல்லாருக்குமே ஈவன் தோ டெஸ்பைட் உங்களோட ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேரை ஸ்டாப் பண்ண முடியுமா நீங்க?
Yeah.
ஸோ மெனி தேங்க்ஸ் ராஜேஷ். வெரி இன்ட்ரிவியூயிங் செஷன். அவங்க டாக்டர் அனிதா போன இதில் கொடுத்துருந்தா அவங்களோட இது சொல்லியிருந்தாங்க. ஸோ ரொம்ப இன்சைட்ஃபுல்லாக இருந்தது. டெஸ்பைட் த பிரேக்ஸ் நமக்கு டைம் வந்து நான் உங்ககிட்ட கொஞ்சம் நல்லா ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்காக சொல்லியிருக்கேன். என்னோட தப்பு. ஸ்டில் வி வாண்டட். நான் தான் சொன்னேன். திருப்பி நான் சொன்னேன், அந்த பாகுபலி படம் போட்டதுனால 2 பார்ட்டா இதை வந்து நம்ம கொடுக்க வேண்டி இருக்கு போல இருக்குது. ஸோ தெரிஞ்சோ தெரியாமலாம் போட்டுட்டேன் அந்த இதுன்ட்டு. ஸோ வெரி மச் யூஸ்ஃபுல். நான் உங்களோட இதை சம்மப் பண்ணிடுறேன். இஃப் எனி திங் யூ கேன் கரெக்ட் இன் பிட்வீன். அதாவது ஒரு சின்ன கிரைசிஸ் பர்சனல் லைஃப்ல இருந்து நீங்க உங்களோட இது சொல்லியிருந்தீங்க. சின்ன வயசுல இருந்து ஹவு இட் ஒரு கிரைசிஸ் எப்படி ஃபீல் பண்ணீங்க, ஒரு என்ன சொல்றது கரேஜியஸ் சைல்டா இருந்தீங்க, உங்களோட தப்பு இல்லாம உங்களுக்கு சுத்தி உள்ளவங்க இதனால அஃபெக்ட் ஆகிட்டு, ஸோ நீங்க வந்து எப்படி யூ டெவலப் யுவர் லைஃப், உங்களோட இதுல வந்து எப்படி ஹவு த லைஃப் இஸ் கோயிங் ஆன் லைக் எனி அதர்ஸ் லைஃப், யுவர் லைஃப் இஸ் ஆல்சோ கோயிங் ஆன். ஸோ நீங்க ஐஐடி கிராக் பண்ணி ஷேர் கிரேஸ், நீங்க 100 out of 100 எடுக்கிற ஒருத்தர் ஏதோ எக்ஸாம்ல இது எல்லாருக்குமே நடக்கும். ஸோ எப்படி கிரைசிஸ் வந்து நீங்க ஃபேஸ் பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு சொன்னீங்க. அப்புறம் எப்படி டிஸ்கோல இருந்து நீங்க வந்து எல்என்டி சூஸ் பண்ணிட்டு அதுல எப்படி கிரைசிஸ் ஃபேஸ் பண்ணீங்க. இதுல எல்லாத்துலயும் நீங்க சொன்னதுல ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ட், வென் யூ ஆர் ஃபேசிங் த மொமெண்ட் ஆஃப் டெத், நீங்க அந்த இதுல வந்து உங்களுக்கு வந்து ஜீரோ எனர்ஜி இருக்கும்போது ஒரு டாக்டரை நீங்க வந்து அதாவது அந்த டைம்ல தட் பிக் கிரைசிஸ் கம்ஸ், நத்திங் மேட்டர்ஸ். உங்களுக்கு வந்து எதுவுமே நான் படிச்சது என் லைஃப் என்னோட கரியர் எதுவுமே இல்லை கிரைசிஸ்ல வந்து. பட் ஹவு கிரேஸ் இஸ், ஏன்னா ஹியூமன் லைஃபே அப்படிதான். நான் இதை பண்ண போறேன் அதை பண்ண போறேன் இருக்கிறவங்களுக்கு வந்து நீ எது வேணா என்ன நினைச்சிருக்கும் போது ஹவு கிரேஸ். ஸோ நீங்க வந்து ஆஸ்பிரேஷன், வில் அண்ட் ஆஸ்பிரேஷன், புத்தர் அழகா சொன்னீங்க நீங்க உங்களோட இன்ட்ரோடக்ஷன்லயே. புத்தருக்கு வந்து அது அவரோட பெரிய விஷயம் வந்து அவரோட வில் பவர்னு சொல்றோம் இல்லையா. இப்ப நமக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் அந்த வில் தான் தேவையா இருக்குது. ஒரு இதை எப்படி நினைச்சதை முடிக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு அந்த இது. ஸோ உங்களோட டெக்னிக்ஸ் நீங்க வந்து அடுத்து வந்தீங்க. டெக்னிக்ஸ்ல வந்து மார்னிங் ஏர்லி ரைசரா இருங்க. ஸோ அதுக்கப்புறம் ஸ்டில்னஸ் 5 to 10 minutes 15 minutes நீங்க சொன்னீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். 15 minutes ஸ்டில்லா இருந்துட்டு உங்களுக்கு அப்பவே நமக்கு வந்து நம்மளோட கான்ஃபிளிக்ட் என்னங்கிறது. ஸோ கான்ஃபிளிக்ட் இஸ் மோர் ஆஃப் அன் இன்டர்னல் திங்னு சொல்லி நீங்க ப்ரொஜெக்ட் பண்ணீங்க.
Internal.
அப்புறம் நீங்க வந்து அதை எப்படி வந்து பிரேக் அவுட் பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லி நீங்க சொன்னீங்க. ஸோ டெக்னிக்கலி வென் கம் ஃபார்வர்ட் திஸ் இஸ் வெரி கிரேட்ஃபுல். ஸோ இப்போ நம்ம பீப்புள் வந்து உங்களை ரீச் அவுட் பண்றதுக்கு யூ டுக் தேர் ஒன் பிக் கான்ஃபிளிக்ட் இல்லையா. ஸோ ஹவு யூ கேன் ஹெல்ப் தம், உங்க நம்பர் நான் உங்ககிட்ட ஷேர் பண்ணலாமா?
Yes, you can. It's not one big conflict. Your biggest conflict, okay? You will have many big conflicts, but this is like your theory of constraints.
உங்களோட
biggest conflict if you attack இந்த ரமணா படம் பாத்தீங்க இல்லையா நீங்க? ரமணால வந்து விஜயகாந்த் வந்து the biggest corrupt official அடிச்சா எல்லாம் சரியாயிடும். Same thing தான். It is actually a very insightful movie. Not your big conflict. There are 10 crooks. The biggest crook among the crooks, you take care and kill him, and then the rest of them fall in line. That's all. The simple funda. It's the same as theory of constraints.
உங்களை எப்படி ரீச் அவுட் பண்றதுன்னு கேட்டிருக்காங்க. கேன் யூ ப்ளீஸ் ஷேர் அந்த நம்பர் கொடுத்துறவா?
இந்த நம்பர் I'll give you the other number 9944562918. That will be better.
9944 56
2918. Okay. இல்லாட்டி இமெயில் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க rajeshaha@rajeshaha.com. பஸ்.
ஓகே, நான் குரூப்ல இது பண்றேன். தேங்க்யூ. எல்லாருமே உங்களோட இதுக்கு தேங்க் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. சுதா
No, but I wish I
yes,
could answer their questions. I couldn't take even a single question. எனக்கு இந்த
yes,
we
we
can't
will
get 5
fix.
minutes, no. Because if I don't answer the questions, I'll feel I've left something out for them. Yeah.
Correct. So we will end up here. Thank you so much. Very kind of you for your time. Despite all the breaks, all the conflicts, we feel connected. And we
Yeah, it's
are
okay.
very happy. All of
Okay,
us.
okay.
I mean, நீங்க 20 பேர் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணி இவ்வளோ இதுக்கு அப்புறமும் people are continuing and listening to us. Once again, I'm grateful to you and sharing from the very
Yeah, it's
personal
okay.
point of view.
We
Thank you so much.
we have
We
to
will-
have this conflicts also in our meeting. Okay. In the conflict
yes.
break also we should learn to manage with peace.
Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, what is the